부산영어방송.
Hello everyone, I'm James from India. Ever since I was a young boy in India, I have been surrounded by different Korean products, and this instilled a dream in me to explore Korea one day. This chance came for me in 2014 when I began attending Busan National University as a graduate student in computer engineering. I have lived in Korea for over 7 years, and I even run my own business now, a company that is developing a platform based on artificial intelligence and blockchain technology. From my experience, I can say with an absolutely certainty that Busan was the best place for me to start my business, thanks to the specialized blockchain zone. In the past 7 years, Busan has become my second home, and I obviously love it here. Global City Busan, we are in it together. This campaign was brought to you by BFM, 부산영어방송.
Want to be a friend of BFM 부산영어방송? You can chat with BFM through our Kakao Talk service. You can share your messages and photos through Kakao Talk, and you can easily become BFM's Kakao friend by searching BFM through the Find a Friend option. Come share and chat with us at BFM anytime, anywhere for free. Don't forget to add BFM 부산영어방송 to your Kakao friends list.
Man, I haven't got a chance. I call
대한민국 인구의 5%, 이주 배경을 지닌 250만 명 이상이 함께 살고 있는 우리. 그 속에 우리 친구들이 있습니다. 승원이와 농구 대결을 좋아하는 모이브.
모이브요? 농구 진짜 잘하죠. 근데 전 못 넘어요.
뭐래? 내 집에 수신 잘 싸.
하늘이와 떡볶이를 먹으며 수다를 즐기는 카리나.
얘요? 얘 명구 진짜 잘 먹어요. 진짜 모르냐? 전혀.
민승이와 편의점 가는 걸 좋아하는 윤수도.
윤수 다른 점이요? 뭐 있냐?
글쎄?
우리에게 중요한 건 우리 모두 친구라는 사실. 우리는 모두 우리입니다. 공익광고협의회.
The time is now 2 o'clock.
Welcome to BFM News at 2. I'm David Kim. The man who stabbed the former Democratic Party leader Lee Jae-myung has been sentenced to 15 years in prison. The Busan District Court's 6th Criminal Division handed down the sentence to the man surnamed Kim and also ordered 5 years of probation. Prosecutors had earlier sought a 20-year prison sentence for Kim. Kim's acquaintance, who was charged with aiding prompted murder, received a sentence of 1 year and 6 months in prison, suspended for 3 years. According to central bank data released today, South Korea recorded its largest current account surplus in 32 months in May, driven by a significant increase in the trade surplus and higher dividend income. The current account surplus reached $8.92 billion in May, a substantial turnaround from a $290 million deficit in April, the largest surplus since December 2021. For the first 5 months of the year, the current account surplus totaled $25.47 billion compared to a $5.03 billion deficit during the same period last year. The central bank anticipates a higher than expected current account surplus for the year, despite challenges such as uncertain economic conditions and fluctuating oil prices. In local news, after over a decade of delays, the Busan Cooperative Fish Market Modernization Project will start demolition and construction. Busan City said today that the Ministry of Strategy and Finance approved the final budget of 236.1 billion won last month. The city has also discussed securing additional funds to cover inflation costs and has requested the Public Procurement Service to contract a demolition company while starting the bidding process for a construction company. Over 20 civic groups in Busan have called for the city to acknowledge its status as the first metropolitan city at risk of regional disappearance and to review its population policies comprehensively. At a press conference at the Busan City Council, the groups highlighted the city's continuous population decline and alarming outflow indicators. They criticized the city's lack of recognition and ineffective measures to address these issues. Despite investing 4.5 trillion won in population policies and 500 billion won in youth policies over 6 years, the city has not achieved a net inflow of young people. The groups urged the city to face the decline statistics and collaborate with citizens on new strategies. The Busan Metropolitan Office of Education said today that it will host the 2024 Busan Education Integrity Content Contest for students, parents, and staff until the 24th. The contest will focus on episodes related to integrity experienced in daily life and visions of a fair and honest society. The contest will be held in 3 categories: artworks, photographs, and UCC videos. The newly introduced photography category allows submissions of photo files taken with digital cameras or smartphones, enhanced with captions, subtitles, and other effects. Students, parents, and staff in Busan can enter the photography and UCC video categories, but only students can enter the artwork category. In international news, Coast Guards in Mauritania have recovered 89 bodies from a migrant boat that capsized in the Atlantic Ocean on Monday local time. 9 survivors were rescued, but many others remain missing. The boat, a traditional fishing vessel, departed last week from the Senegalese-Gambian border with 170 people on board and capsized off the southwestern coast. And now taking a quick look at the weather here. It's currently 30 degrees Celsius under clear skies throughout the day. Air quality is in the healthy levels. Weather over the weekend will see no rain but cloudy skies with afternoon highs peaking up to 30 degrees Celsius. And that'll have to do it for this hour's news. Thank you for joining us. You're listening to BEFM Busan 영어방송.
Your best choice. BEFM Busan 영어방송.
Coming up next is 2 p.m. Reboot with Casey McKeever. BEFM Busan 영어방송.
Music affects us in so many ways, and so do the people who make that music. Perhaps it shouldn't be a surprise that we are so interested in musicians' lives. Their personal histories, their successes, their failures, everything about them can be interesting. And we can see that, of course, by how many followers musicians have on social media these days. So do we already know everything there is to know about our favorite performers? Well, today we're going to share some things about some famous musicians that you probably didn't know. It's Friday, July 5th. This is the 2 p.m. Reboot. Let's get the show started. Welcome back to the 2 p.m. Reboot with Casey McKeever. You just heard Don't Go Making Plans by Hardfi. Hardfi is an English indie rock band, and they have returned with Don't Go Making Plans. This is the first track from the Naughties Legends in over a decade. The new track from the band marks the first time of their forthcoming EP of the same name, and it sees the group heading into a kind of groovy, soul-flecked direction that calls to mind perhaps David Bowie's Let's Dance. I felt like I was hearing some Gorillaz in there as well. According to the frontman Richard Archer, he said, "Don't Go Making Plans is sort of a protest song about protest, but I wanted to encapsulate that message into something that was still a pop song. A track that you can still dance to in a club or play on the radio. Because a song like that, you can make a real connection to and circumnavigates the pointless restrictions being put in our way." I didn't realize that was so much depth going on in there. That was Don't Go Making Plans. All right. That's starting off the show on this Friday afternoon, coming to you live from BEFM 90.5 in Busan and 103.3 FM in the Gijang, Jeongwan, and Noksan areas. On Seoul, we're on TBS EFM 101.3 FM, and in Gwangju, we're on GFN 98.7 FM. Thank you for joining us wherever you might be at today. I hope you're having a wonderful Friday. It's going to be a hot one out there, right? It already is hot. It's, I was on the way here today. I was like, ugh. It was a little bit temperature up here in Busan. And a note from Choi Suknim saying it's very windy today. Yes, I saw that as well on my phone app, that the wind is going to be picking up today as well. Combination of hot, humid air and wind, not quite as enjoyable as it may sound, right? This is when it gets to that level of heat, even the wind kind of doesn't help. So make sure you stay cool out there. I imagine it's going to get a little hot very soon in the summer, right? Right now, we're streaming on YouTube as well. If you go to YouTube and search BEFM or Busan영어방송, you can find us right there. Send us a message, say hi. Let me know how you're doing today on this Friday afternoon. I do want to let you know there is a music copyright issue, however, so when we do play our songs, we mute them during the streaming. We apologize for the inconvenience, and we hope to get that sorted. Of course, however, you can listen to the entire show on FM radio, or if you go to your app store on your phone and download our smartphone app, just search BEFM or 부산영어방송 there. You can download the app, you can log in, leave some comments, talk about today's text topic, which I've got coming up, and also just listen to us wherever you go. It's so convenient, right? So I hope, I hope you enjoy the smartphone app. I love that. You just can take it wherever you want to go, listen to the show, go for a stroll, perhaps in a shaded area, very shaded area, or maybe in a shopping mall. Those are always nice and air-conditioned for sure. We've got a lot for you coming up on the show today. In hour number one, we've got hot off the press first, and that will be 2 new tracks that have recently been released, and we'll tell you about the artist and give you some background information on the track. Really interesting one we've got coming up today. A band that I did not expect to hear something new from, so that'll be coming up shortly. And then we'll also have Jeff in for Weekend Wanderer today. He comes in every Friday. Jeff tells us what's going on here in Busan, around Busan, and Seoul as well. In hour number 2, we've got our daily list. And I was talking about musicians at the front of the show, at the top of the show. I'm very interested in the lives of musicians. I have more than a few autobiographies and biographies on my bookshelf. But I think I'm not the only one. Why are we so interested in musicians? I don't know. They make music. Does that make them superhuman? I don't know. Maybe it seems like it does in many cases. So there's so much that we know. We scrutinize their lives. We follow them very closely. It seems like we know everything about musicians. Well, today on the daily list, I'm going to share 8 interesting facts about famous musicians that you didn't know. So some interesting nuggets that you maybe never heard before. And then because today is Friday, we have our Friday Spotlight. This is our newer segment where we introduce either a musician or performer or artist who's here living and working in Busan, or perhaps coming to perform in Busan. And today we've got our very own local, Gino Brand, coming in, and we're going to talk to him and play some new music from him, and I'm very excited about that. So definitely stay tuned for that. And finally, on hour number 2, we'll have our perfect playlist. We always have songs about a theme in the perfect playlist, and this week's theme has been July. So we're going to finish our theme of July on this Friday, July 5th. I can't believe we're already into July still. The year has been flying by. And of course, please send in your messages throughout the show. I'll be happy to check them, see what's going on out there in Busan and beyond. Our question of the day for today, it's a very simple one. I'm just curious. I've been talking about musicians today. I will have a musician in later. What musician would you like to meet? And I was thinking, do we need to stipulate live or not alive? I guess it doesn't matter. It's up to you. Just what is one musician you would like to meet? 어떤 음악가를 만나고 싶나요? Really simple question today. I'm curious, who would you like to say hi to and maybe just ask some questions that you've always wanted to ask? For me, I'm going to go with the live musician. I have a lot of interest in meeting Pete Townsend from The Who. I don't know if it's particularly because of him or his bandmates. His band, if you're not familiar with The Who, they had one of the most interesting drummers in rock music by the name of Keith Moon. And I'm just kind of curious, how would you function in a band with a person like that? Because he was obviously very talented and they made a lot of great music together, but still must have been so chaotic. There's so many strange and fascinating stories about that band and what they did in their time together. So I would love to sit down with Pete Townsend and kind of just talk about his experience as a musician in The Who. And of course, he wrote a lot of their songs. I could ask all kinds of information about that as well. Yeah, it just seems like there would be so much to talk about with him. He does seem to be a little bit on the ornery side at times, so I hope I would catch him on a good day and don't ask a question that would make him upset, for sure. But that would be my answer. For the first one that came off the top of my head, I would like to meet Pete Townsend from The Who and talk to him for a while. Do you have an answer? Who would you like to meet? What kind of musician would you like to meet? Live or not, it doesn't matter. You want to meet Mozart? Cool. Let me know. And tell me why. You can send us your answer at shop 9050 or pound 9050 for 101. You can reach us for free on Kakao Talk if you search BEFM or Busan영어방송. Just add us there and you can send us a message. And of course, as I mentioned before, if you go to the App Store on your phone, search for our smartphone app. If you search BEFM or Busan영어방송, you can download the app and then leave us some comments after you log in. So I'm curious, what musicians would people like to meet? I think my specific tastes are very narrowly focused in like 1970s rock and roll. So I wanted to see what you want. What other genres and what other times people are interested in out there. So think about your answer, send us a message, and we're going to take a quick song break. We're going to listen to On the Beach by Jubal, and we'll be back with Hot Off the Press. Welcome back to the 2 p.m. Reboot with Casey McKeever, and you just heard On the Beach by Jubal. And now it is time for Hot Off the Press. We do this every Monday through Friday. We bring you two of the newest, hottest tracks from the world of music. There are so many songs that are released all the time, so we try to pick some of the most interesting for you every day. And this Friday, we've got our first song. I was really surprised to hear this. Lazy Sod by Deep Purple. And I didn't know Deep Purple had recently put out something, but they have. This is a legendary British hard rock band. They've released a new single called Lazy Sod from their upcoming album Equals One, and that is due for release on July 19th. So that's coming up very soon. And asked about the song's inspiration, Deep Purple frontman Ian Gillan, who actually was with the band for their biggest songs, if you know Smoke on the Water, for example, he's back with the band. He said in an interview with Rocks magazine that recently a young journalist asked me how many songs I had written in my life. I replied that the last time my assistant counted 20 years ago, it was over 500. I felt quite accomplished until she pointed out Dolly Parton had 5,000 songs, calling me a lazy sod. I couldn't help but agree and wrote down the exchange in my notebook. And Lazy Sod to me is not only a fantastic Sex Pistols song, by the way, but it's a very British term. It sounds very British to me. Our second song for today is Please, Please, Please by Sabrina Carpenter. And if it seems like Sabrina Carpenter is crossing a major career milestone with each passing week, well, that's probably because she is the singer-songwriter and actor that claimed the first number one single of her career with Please, Please, Please at the latest Billboard Hot 100 chart. And this week it's at number 5, so she's still doing well. Carpenter has been making a big splash ahead of the August 23rd release of her 6th studio album, Short and Sweet. Last month, she made Hot 100 history when the song Please, Please, Please debuted at number 2, while her viral hit Espresso sat at number 3. That makes her the first solo act in the history of the 66-year-old Billboard Hot 100 chart to land 2 simultaneously top 3 placed hits. Wow, so well done to Sabrina Carpenter there. So our 2 new songs for today on Hot Off the Press. First up, Lazy Sod by Deep Purple, followed by Please, Please, Please by Sabrina Carpenter. Welcome back to the 2 p.m. Reboot. You were just listening to our 2 songs for Hot Off the Press for today. That was Please, Please, Please by Sabrina Carpenter. And before that, you heard Lazy Sod by Deep Purple. And I wanted to know what members of Deep Purple were still in the band. And actually 3 of the members of like the classic period where you would hear things like Highway Star or Smoke on the Water, songs that you might have heard before. The original drummer, Ian Pace, original bassist, Roger Glover, and the vocalist from that period, Ian Gillan, still working, still making rock music. Wow. So well done, Deep Purple. Good job. Our question of the day, in fact, is what musician would you like to meet? 어떤 음악가를 만나고 싶나요? And I would like to meet Ian Pace from Deep Purple, actually. He's one of those rare left-handed drummers in a heavy metal hard rock band. And it's just fun to watch him play. And I bet he's got a lot of good stories that he could share. So Ian Pace, yes. I wonder would he sit down for an interview? I'm sure he would. Seems like a nice guy. I got a message from Choi Hee-suk Nim who says, when it comes to musicians, the king of pop, Michael Jackson, pops up in my head. I think he was born to be an artist. Would you like to meet Michael Jackson? That would be a very interesting conversation. I mean, so many different things you could ask him about. He's got a very interesting life story for sure. So yeah, it could be a musician who's alive, a musician who's no longer with us. Who would you like to meet? And also, what would you like to ask them? For Michael Jackson, I feel like I would have to have attorneys present a lot of times. I don't know what I could ask. What I could ask him and what I should not ask him. But he definitely had a long and varied career. There's a lot you could talk to him about for sure. So you can send us your answers, of course, at 샵9050 or pound 9050 for 101. You can reach us for free on Kakao Talk if you search BEFM or 부산영어방송. And you can also download our smartphone app if you go to the App Store on your phone and just search BEFM 부산영어방송 there. You can download that, log in, and leave us some comments. And we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with Weekend Wanderer and Jeff. All right, welcome back. It is time for Weekend Wanderer. Jeff is in the studio here on this Friday. Welcome, Jeff. Good to see you again.
Jeff is tired.
Jeff is tired. Jeff had a busy week.
Yeah, Jeff just flew in from Bangkok this morning, actually.
That's a busy week.
Yeah, so I went out there on Monday evening and I flew back this morning.
So you feeling it?
Yeah.
I guess,
I cannot sleep on planes.
I'm with you. Even what's the flight? 5-6 hours?
5.
And
coming back.
It's just not possible to sleep, right?
I did get some, but then I got woken up in the middle of the flight by the couple who was next to me who wanted to get up and go to the bathroom.
That's the worst.
Yeah.
You finally fell asleep.
Yeah.
Excuse me, buddy.
Pretty much, yeah. So,
what time was your flight? What time did you leave?
We left actually early. We left at, it was delayed, so we left around 11:30
at
last night. Yeah,
so
every flight's always a red eye, so coming back, it's always tiring. But, I mean, Bangkok was fun. It was hot, of course. Had some rain yesterday, sweated a lot.
Right.
But overall, good.
Yeah, good. I'm glad to hear that. It's a little bit hot and sweaty here in Busan too, but you're probably like, no.
Oh no, it's actually fine. This is fine compared to what it was the last couple of days. But again, next week I'm going to Phoenix, where it's going to be 50 degrees.
Oh,
so
they say dry heat.
Times.
No, it's dry heat, but still, when it gets up to like 50,
I've got like 11 different flights this month. So
wow.
Yeah, it's going to be a month of travel. Well, we'll see what happens.
Jeff, thank you so much for coming in and making time for us on this Friday. Jeff's like traveling around the world, and of course he's going to tell us what's happening actually in our area of the world today in Busan and around Busan and Seoul. So what have we got going on this Friday?
Well, I thought we were going to talk about some artists.
Oh, nice. Cool.
Who I wanted to meet.
Oh, I totally forgot. I was talking about vacation and then I sidetracked. Yeah, would you like to meet?
I've actually got a couple.
Yeah.
If I had got to meet a Korean one, for some reason I've always wanted to meet Sandra Park.
Ah, okay.
And other than that, Neil Peart.
Okay. Another drummer, in case you're not familiar. The drummer from Rush.
Yeah, Larry Mullen Jr.
Another drummer.
On the list. Another drummer. You got to meet Snoop Dogg, because that would just be fun.
Yes.
I wouldn't call him a singer, rapper, but I mean, he'd just be fun to hang out with for the day, wouldn't he?
You would certainly be relaxed if you hung out with him for an extended period.
And I think you just got to sit down and kind of try and figure out Willie Nelson.
You know what?
That would be fun.
You know, I've
'Cause
actually...
I bet you he's got stories.
For sure. And Willie Nelson, if you're not familiar, Willie Nelson's a country artist who's probably still on tour, and he's quite up there in the years, but I did see a video with him and Snoop Dogg hanging out together not that long ago.
Right.
Yes. The two of them would be a very good time together. I would say meet them both at the same time.
Yeah, that'd be even fun. More fun.
Yeah, for sure. I'm curious, why you had like two drummers on the list? Why those particular drummers?
Neil Peart's always been my favorite drummer, and I was a big U2 fan as well growing up, but Larry Mullen Jr. was always my favorite part of U2.
Nice.
So.
Yeah, he actually started the band.
Yeah.
Without him, the band would have never started. So never think the drummer means nothing. The drummer sometimes is everything.
Alex Lifeson would also be fun.
All right, also from Rush, the guitarist of Rush. Yeah, so Rush, you would like to meet everybody except Geddy Lee.
I meet Geddy Lee. So actually, Alex Lifeson, my cousin went to school with him.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, and if you know like the story, so his family name is actually Alex Zinovinovich.
That's his original name?
Yeah, and so Alex Lifeson is son of life, which Zinovinovich means son of life. Alex Lifeson. That's how he got that name.
So he translated his last name from what sounds like a Slavic language.
Yeah.
And he just made it like the English equivalent.
So it means son of life, Lifeson.
Wow, very cool.
Yeah.
Smart. Because that's like that's a name that's always stuck in my head. Like, oh, I've never heard that last name before.
Yeah.
Lifeson.
So now you know the story.
Very cool. See, here we go. Jeff bringing in some knowledge. And this is exactly what my point was before at the top of the show. We know so much about musicians. And a lot of times I don't even know why I know so much about them,
Well,
right?
I knew the story because, like I said, my cousin went to high school with them.
Right.
But actually, I just rewatched the Trailer Park Boys episode with Alex Lifeson, and that's how I remember the story.
Nice. Very good. Cool. So it's just always interesting to me, like what other information like people have about musicians. And we're going to talk about that a lot today. But of course, Jeff is here to talk about what's going on in Busan, around Busan, and Seoul as well. What are we going to talk about on this Friday?
Okay, so this is actually pretty interesting to start. So, Chudae Station and Sasang Station have become homes, designated safety zones for anybody who's doing like secondhand transactions.
Okay.
So, for example, if you're using any of the apps like the Carrot or the whatever
to
sell stuff, you never know who you're meeting, right? And it can kind of already be like a little bit of you don't know.
Okay.
But so they've started in these two stations, they've got these green marked areas in the waiting rooms, which is kind of gives a more secure environment for people doing trades.
Interesting.
So they do have like CCTV.
Oh, you can see it right there. Okay.
Yeah. And so like so it's it enables a rapid response to any emergencies that happen. So it's a pilot program, and they're hoping to expand it to additional subway stations across the city. So it's a good idea, actually.
Yeah, it's genius. I when you said that, I actually was thinking like, oh, they have to make a special room or reserve a special place for it. But no, it's actually just a marked area within the subway.
Yeah, because it's a much safer experience to have to go meet somebody you don't know in a public space. And I mean, if you're going to their like apartment, it can get a little creepy.
Right,
so,
and maybe if you have a disagreement as well, like,
right.
oh, wait,
so I mean,
agreed
we'll
on
go to
this.
this safe space, and then it's a good place for transactions to safely take place. So
interesting.
Good
So
idea.
yeah, if you look on YouTube, you can see where we have a picture of it right there. Yeah, it's just like it's like a zone, I guess, that you just like kind of step into. Like in this particular subway station, it's very close to where the stairs are and the entrance to the subway. Interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah, very cool. Good
so,
idea.
Like I said, right now it's at Chudae and Sasang Station. So if you're in that area, make use of it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and then the more that people use it, like you said, they'll probably expand it to other subway stations as well.
And I think it's a great idea because, I mean, it's better to be safe, especially because you never know who you're going to meet.
Right, especially when the internet world and reality combine,
Right.
or when they actually meet, right? When they collide, I guess is the word I was looking for. Because like sometimes what you expect when you're online interactions and then what you meet in reality are not the same.
Right, exactly.
Right. So yeah, good way to be safe.
Just like a Tinder photo.
Exactly. Exactly. You never know what people are really posting and what they really look like, right?
Yeah. Okay, moving along. So the city of Busan, in collaboration with the KTO and the BTO, has announced the 2024 Starry Sea Busan Night Festa. So this is going to be held from July through October across various districts, including Jeonggu, Bukgu, Sahagu, and Yeongdo-gu. So it's in its third year, and it'll feature a wide range of night tour content with diverse experience for visitors. One of the highlights is the Night Mission Tour, which is a city center adventure in Gwangbok-dong. It's like a character-driven storytellers guide participants through historical sites like Gukjae Market and Bupyeong Gangtong Market.
Cool.
Yeongdusun Park is hosting a night pop-up, a modern playground for the MG generation that combines night fashion and healing activities. Another key attraction is the night music camp at Darepo Beach. Offers a musical experience with the nice sunset. A themed night market near the Golden Bridge in Buku. Has an array of food and entertainment, creating a nice nighttime atmosphere. So overall, there's going to be 9 main programs. There's 133 events that are going to be going on.
Wow.
Ranges everything from river dinner cruises and night tours of museums and flea markets, music camps. There's a Baby Shark Night Playground going to be happening in September, and the Yeongdusun Park Night Festival.
Very cool.
Lots of things coming up to do, especially at night. And that's what is the big thing for this one, is that everything takes place at night. So you can enjoy the night, enjoy the cool breeze.
I was going to say, right.
When it gets a little cold, it's a little cooler.
Right. Yeah, okay, that's a great idea. And that's going to be going on
through
how long?
October.
Okay.
Yeah, so like I said, that's a few months, about 4 months worth of activities, lots of stuff going on.
Wow.
We'll try to keep you updated on everything that we find out as well.
Very good.
Speaking of heat, let's look at what's happening at the beaches this summer. So the beaches opened on the 1st, on Monday, for summer activities. And so Hyundai, let's take a look what's happening there. So they've got the swimming zone at the 150 meters in front of the Western Chosin Beach, Busan. Zone will feature a beach film festival, photo and game experience zones, and beach cabanas for resting. They're also, this year, are not having the parasols and the rental people done by other people. They're doing it themselves this year.
Oh, okay.
And so this year they're actually going to reinvest the profits into facility maintenance and vacation programs.
That sounds like a smart idea.
Yeah. Kwangali Beach, the drone show is going to be up to 1,000 drones every Saturday. They're going to have a character zone, which we talked about before, with the Bao family, and then the photo opportunities. And Friday nights, they're doing a beach movie theater with free screenings on the sand.
Cool.
Also, they'll be doing on Saturday nights, they'll be having the road closed. Songdo Beach, they're going to, from the 3rd to the 4th of August, is the Songdo Summer Sea Festival. They're going to be doing a creative song competition and the Hyunga Song Festival. There's a children's love zone. We'll offer a seawater pool and mini slides for family fun. At Darepo Beach and Songdo Beach, they're putting in the cooling fog systems. So again, you can kind of cool down more with those. And then they'll also be doing a lot of barefoot walking and swimming on the white sand beaches. So lots of things going on. Hyundai Beach is also hosting a barefoot walking competition in October. And they've also upgraded their foot washing facilities for walkers.
I've noticed a lot of that lately. A lot of people walking barefoot everywhere I go in the city.
Yeah.
That's definitely trending.
It's the big
right?
trend across the country.
For sure. Cool.
Yeah, so lots going on at the beaches this summer. Lastly, for the last news item, KBS, in association with the KF ASEAN Culture House, is hosting the ASEAN Korea Music Festival 2024 round this weekend. So this is taking place on Saturday and Sunday at KBS Busan Hall. So there's a big lineup of musicians, local from Korea and also from ASEAN countries. This is in its 4th year, and it aims to strengthen the cultural ties between Korea and the ASEAN countries. And yeah, it's a big deal, actually. Last year's was held in Jakarta, and they had over 12,000 people.
Oh.
This year, it's going to be big. So that's going on this weekend at KBS Hall in Namcheon-dong.
Okay, so if you're wondering, like, why is the traffic so bad here, right, in that section of the town? Yeah, that's what's going on there. And that's going on all weekend, it looks like?
Yeah, Saturday and Sunday. So like I said, there's singers from Brunei, Cambodia, Malaysia, Myanmar, Laos, Philippines, Indonesia, Singapore. And again, hosted, who's the Korean singer here? Yoonmin is going to be on there, the King of Mass Singer, Nerd Connection, and H1 Key.
Very cool.
Yeah, lots of music going on this weekend.
Nice. I love that. And we've been talking about music a lot today. So if you want to meet some musicians, the place to go is near KBS Busan Hall this weekend. There will be a ton of musicians you could go meet and interact with, hopefully. But they might be swamped. If they had 12,000 people in Jakarta, I wonder how many we're going to get here. Wow, that's going to be a big event.
And if you can't make it, it actually will be performed live on KBS World.
Oh, there you go. Cool. Okay. So you'll be able to see it either way.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, I tell you what, this is a great place to take a song break and listen to some music. We're going to listen to Let's Go Dancin' Ooh La La by Peter Andre, and then we'll be back with more Weekend Wanderer and Jeff. Welcome back to the 2 p.m. Reboot. You just heard Let's Go Dancin' Ooh La La by Peter Andre. And of course, we're back with Jeff for Weekend Wanderer. And we've been talking a lot about the things that have been going on here. Some news as well. I think one of the big takeaways was what they're doing with the subway stations. You know, if you want to have transactions with people online in a safe space, I think that's a genius move.
Yeah,
so
really good.
Yeah, so I hope to see like that, things like that continue. And of course, before the break, we also talked about one of the big ASEAN festivals coming up, music-related festival. I expect there's going to be a lot of people checking that out. What else have we got going on, Jeff?
Okay, so music-wise, as we mentioned, we do have the ASEAN Korea Music Festival. There's also the Ulsuk-do Cultural Center is starting to host the 10th Opera Festival.
Oh.
So this weekend is Mozart's The Magic Flute, by the Pukyung Philharmonic Orchestra, which is going to be taking place on tonight and tomorrow.
Very cool.
Events-wise, the Mobility Show still going on at Bexco. That will close on Sunday, but if you haven't checked it out, you can still check it out. The big one going on this weekend also at outdoor of Bexco is the Craft Beer Festival.
Oh, good.
So you have 12 craft brewers and 13 food and dessert trucks.
Right.
And outdoor entertainment. So if you're looking for that. Started this week was the Monet to Andy Warhol exhibition. So it has 143 works from the Johannesburg Art Gallery and the National Gallery of South Africa.
I'm going.
Yeah, so this is Busan's first major masterpiece exhibition since 2011. So it's definitely worth checking out.
For sure. I live right down the street from there.
Yeah.
I'm going.
This is going on through October 27th, so you have a lot of time. Also, finishing up today is the Robot Expo at Bexco. Oh, the Robot Expo at Bexco. That's a rhyme. And the Auto Manufac, which is also part of the Mobility Show. The 2024 Busan Step Up Dance Festival will be held for 4 days at the Busan Cinema Center, among other venues. And, yeah, lots of things going on.
Right, very good. Cool.
Also, Bucheon is playing the iPark Saturday at 7:30. Please note that they've moved their stadium to Gadok instead of Asiad.
Ah, okay.
So, yeah, the game's at Gadok.
Nice. Okay, that's good to know. Have we got anything else going on in Busan, or
Just that.
on to Seoul?
On to Seoul.
All right, on to Seoul then.
Okay, so at the Gangsa Cultural Center, we have Byunjin Sup and the Live Our Green Summer Days on Saturday. Kim Oki Saturn Ballad at the Sejong Cultural Center S Theater. Extenary, I guess that's how it's called. The 6-member boy group from JYP is playing all weekend at Yes 24 Live Hall.
Wow, working hard all weekend, those guys.
Yeah. I don't know if this is just called ALF or ALF. I hope it's not like the...
Alf the Alien?
Alf the Alien.
We don't expect to see the little furry creature.
That's all I kept thinking of. Saturday at the Daewon Contents Live Performance Hall, the Peppertones. July 6th at the Sohyang Theater, Shinhan Card Hall. Rolling Quartz, which is a 5-member female rock band, Saturday night at Westbridge Live Hall. Cha Eun-woo for the girls who like the handsome men.
Oh, he's a
at the
good-looking
Olympic
guy?
Handball Gymnasium, Saturday. Seongook Fan Meeting, Saturday at Myeonghwa Live Hall. Truck Girls, Musinsa Garage, also on Saturday. Atiz, an 8-member boy band, Saturday and Sunday at Jamshil Gymnasium. Byonu-suk, Asia Fan Meeting. He gained widespread popularity for his portrayal as Roo Sun-jae in the series Lovely Runner this year at Jungcheon Arena, both Saturday and Sunday. Westlife.
Oh,
Remember
for real?
Westlife? For real.
Oh, wow. I haven't heard that name in a while.
Yeah, they have a big fan base in Korea.
I know, yeah. I actually heard about them here first.
Yeah.
I didn't know about them before I moved to Korea.
Okay, yeah.
But they're not from Korea, right?
No, they're Irish.
Right.
Saturday and Sunday at Inspire Arena. And then Waterfire, which is a 4-member vocal project boy group. They're doing their first fan meeting on Saturday and Sunday at Shinhan Square Live Hall. So, lots going on.
You know, and this kind of goes back to my point at the beginning of the show. Like, a lot of these are events with musicians, right? And a lot of the things you mentioned are specifically fan meetings.
Right.
Right? And I guess the idea is perhaps they might do a performance as well, but they're specifically giving you time to meet them.
I think this is something more that happens in Northeast Asia with idols and stuff. I don't remember, having, any fan meetings like this kind of thing back in North America or Europe.
No.
I think it's more specifically tailored to here.
I think the closest thing I can think of to that would be like a convention, maybe like a comic book convention or a science fiction convention where you meet people, maybe
right,
stand
but this
in
is
line.
one specific person going into a very large meeting,
right?
Like a large venue with thousands of people just to go see them. So
you know what? I kind of want to just check it out just to see how they manage that. Can you imagine the logistics of that? What do they do? Do they just hand them a microphone and address the crowd?
My idea, just from the events that I've been to over the years, it would be a Q&A and then a bunch of songs.
Okay.
That's my guess of how they go down.
So a bit of a performance as well.
Yeah,
so
performance
there will be
and a Q&A.
Right. Do you think they make time for signing autographs and stuff, or is it too many people to deal with?
Maybe at the beginning, probably for VIPs.
Right.
That's, I think, what they usually do. But yeah, I mean, other than I guess the only ones we have, but it was more for book writers and stuff. When they're doing a book writing, book signing or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
But
that's
not really
what I was
with
thinking
singers.
Too. Yeah, I can't imagine how much your hand must hurt after doing a book signing, right? But it's amazing. Like, we want to know so much about musicians, and there are plenty of chances in Seoul. And I imagine probably in Busan occasionally they do fan meets as well, right? So really interesting opportunity to go say hi to a person that you enjoy and love their music. Perhaps you get to say hi in person, but I think your presence there is like making it very clear you like this person. You have to get thousands of people showing up. Really interesting experience there.
Good for their ego.
For sure. Imagine like you got a fan meeting and nobody shows up. That would not be good for the ego, right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Good.
So, Jeff, I know you're going to be busy soon. What are your plans next?
What, for the month?
Yeah. Where are you heading off to next?
So I'm going to Phoenix on Wednesday next week, and then I'll be going to Detroit and then into Canada for a few weeks to see my family. My niece is getting married, but I'm going to miss the wedding. I'm just going for the original stag party. And then I'll be flying to Dallas, and then I'll be flying to Phoenix, and then back through San Francisco and back here at the end of the month.
Well, thank you for making the time on your travels around the world to come and see us on this Friday. And safe travels, of course. You know, have a safe trip.
Much appreciated. 50-degree heat. So if you think this is hot, think of what I'm going to.
Yeah, the next place he's flying to is going to be 50 degrees, but it's dry heat, they always say. Dry heat, right? Interesting. Yeah, well,
they
cool.
say. We'll see.
Yeah, let us know when you come back how the dry heat is. And speaking of Westlife, we're going to take a quick song break. So thanks again, Jeff, for coming in for Weekend Wanderer. And we're going to listen to Uptown Girl by Westlife, and then we'll be back at 3 p.m.
BEFM 부산영어방송.
혹시 지금 운전 중이신가요? 어린이 교통사고 피해자 수는 지난 3년 평균 약 9만 명. 특히 어린이 보호구역 안전 기준이 강화된 이후에도 어린이 보호구역 내 사고는 지속적으로 발생하고 있습니다. 스쿨존에서는 반드시 시속 30km 이하 서행, 스쿨존 내 불법 주정차 금지, 차량 출발 전 앞뒤 좌우 살피는 습관으로 어린이가 안전한 도시를 만듭니다. 참, 운전 중 휴대전화 사용은 모두에게 위험합니다. 우리 모두를 위한 교통안전, 나부터 실천하면 모두가 안전해집니다. 어린이가 안전하게 뛰어놀 수 있는 부산. 아이 키우기 좋은 도시는 우리 모두의 미래이자 희망입니다. 이 캠페인은 어린이가 안전한 부산을 만드는 은행, B&K 부산은행과 함께합니다.
Electric kickboards and electric bicycles are common on the streets these days. With the increased use of personal mobility devices, the number of accidents and deaths have reportedly increased significantly.
Personal mobility patrol mode.
I don't need to wear a safety helmet because I'm only riding a short distance.
Wear a safety helmet. When you drive your personal mobility devices, you have to wear a safety helmet.
Hey, I rented an electric kickboard. Let's ride it together.
Okay, you drive in the front, I'll get in the back.
Follow the number of passengers. Only one person can ride an electric kickboard and electric wheel parallel car.
Follow the rules of personal mobility devices and drive safely. This campaign is brought to you by BEFM 부산영어방송.
The time is now 3 o'clock.
Welcome back to the 2 p.m. Reboot with Casey McKeever. You just listened to Chariot by Gavin DeGraw to kick off the second hour of the show. And if that was some gospel vibes for you, that's no coincidence. The song Chariot has that phrase, right? And that in the gospel song, actually, Swing Low, Sweet Chariot, which you might have heard before. What is a chariot? Well, the chariot kind of represents this divine vehicle that will take you to a better place. And then the song you just heard, Gavin DeGraw's Chariot, is what he described as a metaphorical vehicle for getting to a place in your mind that is more broken down and laid back. DeGraw actually wrote the song when he made a big move to New York City, where he pursued his music career. He grew up in the Catskill Mountains region, which is upstate New York, and he attended both Ithaca College and Berklee College of Music before forgetting the academics and trying to do the struggling musician thing, and I guess it worked out for him. This song is where he put many of his feelings behind about being overwhelmed and wanting to return to a more tranquil place in his mind. Because it's not easy being a musician, right? Especially when you first start out. Well, we're coming to you live from Busan on this Friday afternoon. We're at BEFM 90.5 here in Busan. And if you're in Gijang, Jeongwan, and Noksan areas, we're on 103.3 FM. In Seoul, we're on TBS EFM 101.3 FM. And in Gwangju, we're on GFN 98.7 FM. Thank you for joining us wherever you might be today. We've got a lot coming up for you in hour number 2. First up, we'll have our daily list. Today's topic, 8 interesting things about famous musicians that you didn't know. Perhaps if you heard when Jeff was in the studio a little bit ago, we were sharing some information that we had, our individual information about musicians that we know and enjoy. And for some reason, we all like to do that, don't we? If you like music, if you like a performer, if you like an artist, we tend to find out all about them. Where they're from, what their life story is, what their background is. So I think today I'm going to share some things that you don't know about some musicians that you may know. And then today we have our Friday Spotlight. This is our newer segment where we introduce a local musician, performer, or artist working and living here in Busan, or sometimes that come to perform here in Busan. And today we're featuring Busan's very own Gino Brand, and I'm excited to have him in the studio to have an interview and play some of his new music. And then today also we'll have our perfect playlist, and our theme for the week has been songs about July. So we'll continue that today as well because it's July 5th already, right? We find ourselves already in the middle of the summer. And of course, I'll be checking your messages throughout the show, so feel free to tell me who your favorite musician is, or, as the question of the day is, what musician you would like to meet. 어떤 음악가를 만나고 싶나요? And I've got an interesting message. I guess technically I could consider myself a musician, maybe. I got a message from 1437님 who says, "How's it going, Casey? It's so scorching, though I do hope you're well. Speaking of today's topic, I don't know much about music, though it would be a great honor for me to meet you and have a little bit of a chat about your life as a drummer." Oh, thank you. Yes, I have mentioned on the show occasionally that I do play the drums. And I never really consider myself a musician, but sure, I would love to talk to you about what it's like to play the drums here in Busan. It's definitely a very enjoyable experience. It seems like there's never enough drummers in Busan. So if you do play the drums out there and you're looking for a band, you don't have to look that hard. Perhaps look online. There's a lot of music communities, and it seems like they're always searching for drummers. And 1437 Nim, thank you so much for the kind words. 1437 Nim says, "Having a conversation with you would surely enrich my life in some ways." Cool. Thank you so much. And that's, I think, a lot of the reasons we want to meet people we look up to, like musicians or actors or whoever you might look up to. It just seems like it would enrich our lives to kind of have a conversation with them. So thank you so much for the kind message. So if you have an answer for yourself, send us a message here at shop #9050 or pound 9050 for 101, or you can reach us for free if you go to Kakao and search BEFM or Busan영어방송. Just add us there, and you can send a message. Or we have our very own smartphone app. If you go to your app store on your phone, search BEFM or Busan영어방송. You can download the app, log in, leave us some comments, and listen to the show anywhere you go. So with that said, think about who you would like to meet, what musician you would like to meet, or any famous person. I'm curious, who would you like to meet? And we'll take a quick song break. We're going to listen to Summer Breezin' by Diana King featuring Bounty Killer, and then we'll be back with our daily list. Welcome back to the 2 p.m. Reboot. You just heard Summer Breezin' by Diana King featuring Bounty Killer. And now it is time for our daily list. We do this every day. We give you either the best of, the worst of, the top 10. Well, today we've got a list of 8. Today's 8 interesting facts about famous musicians that you didn't know. And when I say you didn't know these facts. You probably know these musicians. Our first one, Mozart. I'm pretty sure most of you out there would know who Mozart is. The interesting fact about Mozart, he sold more CDs than Beyonce in 2016. In October 2016, there was a box set that was released celebrating the 225th anniversary of classical composer Mozart's death, and he beat everybody. He beat Beyonce, he beat Adele, he beat Drake, people who had won Grammys in that same year in 2016. He outsold them all. Okay, The numbers were a little stacked in his favor. It could have something to do with the fact that each set of the box set contains 200 discs, and each disc counted as one sale. But still, think about it. That's pretty impressive for somebody who had not been around for 3 centuries. Well done, Mozart. Still selling CDs. Or streaming these days, I assume. Number 2, another interesting fact about a musician you probably know, Eminem. Eminem's song Rap God has the world record for the song with the most words. That's a real thing. I promise you, that's a real record. So Eminem's hit song Rap God, which was released in October 2013, comes from the album The Marshall Mathers LP2. It has the world record for the highest number of words contained in one song. Well, how many, you ask? Well, it has an astounding 1,560 words. So 1,560 words. And it actually averages 4.28 words per second. Yeah, somebody wanted to figure that out. There you go. Interesting record to hold. And I was curious, is this kind of something that's typical to genres, a variety of genres? And I was looking online, and it looks like typically rap songs usually have a much higher word count. And if you think about it, that makes sense because the whole idea of rap is using words in a very creative way and often at a high speed. So it makes sense that rap songs would typically have more words than other genres. They say it looks like the typical word count for rap songs could be around 600. So there you go. So at least in that case, Marshall Mathers LP2, who's pushing the limits again. Eminem, 1,560 words for one song. Very impressive. Number 3, the biggest ever free concert was held by Rod Stewart. So good on you, Rod Stewart, for holding a free concert for a big group of people. This was back in 1993, a New Year's Eve concert on Copacabana Beach in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. It was a free concert that was attended by the most people in history. And at that point, you probably have to just do estimates, right? They estimated 4.2 million people attended that performance. Something close? Yeah, there are some close performances that got, fairly high. Not 4.2 million perhaps, but Jean-Michel Jarre's 1997 free performance in Moscow had a reported audience of 3.5 million people. That's not too shabby either, right? Georges Benjour on New Year's Eve, 1993, also Copacabana Beach, Rio de Janeiro, had 3 million people in attendance. And next up, we got the Beach Boys. They played a free concert at the Philadelphia Museum of Art in 1985 for Independence Day, and 1 million people reportedly attended that event. So good on you to all of those musicians playing for free and getting a lot of people to show up. Good job. Number 4, somebody who is probably responsible for breaking a lot of records, I assume, Prince. And on his debut album, he actually played 27 instruments on that album. That was the first album he ever released. It was called For You, and it came out when he was just 20 years old. On it, he reportedly played 27 of the musical instruments that were included in every song on the album. He is listed as the vocalist, electric guitarist, acoustic guitar, bass synth. Oh my goodness, there's just too many. It's just too many. He did all kinds of piano, moog, synthesizers, drums, water drums. I'm not even sure what those are. Slapsticks, bongos, congas, finger cymbals. So whatever was on the album, pretty much he had something to do with it. Good job. Especially for being age 20, doing that much and on your first album. That's a lot of effort. Number 5, the only band to have played in all 7 continents is Metallica. So I reckon nobody's going to break that record anytime soon, but we'll see. We never know. Metallica is definitely known for playing concerts all around the world. They've had 1,600 shows in the lifetime of the band. In 2013, they became the first musical act to play on all 7 continents. How did they pull that off? Well, they had to play in Antarctica. So they performed for 120 scientists and competition winners in a see-through dome at the Carlini Station in Antarctica. And the band has performed in all of the other continents. They even, check this out, they even performed concerts on all 7 continents within 1 year. As if it weren't impressive enough to play on all of them, they did it in a span of a year. They had tour dates in North America, South America, Europe, Africa, Asia, and Australia as well. All in the space of 1 year. Very impressive. For number 6, we've got Guns N' Roses. They wrote the song Sweet Child of Mine. I'm pretty sure you've heard that song. It only took them 5 minutes. Sweet Child of Mine comes from Guns N' Roses' debut album, Appetite for Destruction. It's got that guitar line you've probably heard, and the hit tune actually was the result of the band playing around with their instruments. Slash said in an interview with Rolling Stone, "It was an interesting sort of pattern. I never thought it was going to become a song. He was just fiddling around on his electric guitar." But they followed it up with lyrics very quickly. Lead singer Axl Rose wrote the lyrics in 5 minutes while hearing the guitar ringing from another room. And then, did it pay off? It definitely did. Sweet Child of Mine spent 24 weeks in the charts in number one, at the place of number one. And it only took them 5 minutes to write. Well done. Number 7, Michael Jackson's Scream has the most expensive music video of all time. Scream is the first single from Michael Jackson's album History, Past, Present, and Future Book 1. You've probably seen the video before. It takes place in space, and there's a lot of things going on there to make it the most expensive video ever produced. It has an intricate spaceship set. That set alone cost $10.7 million to make. Did it pay off? Certainly. The song and the video went on to win Grammy for Best Short Form Music Video. So money well spent? I certainly hope so. Last at number 8, this just shows you should always try again. The Beatles got rejected in an audition for a record company, and they probably felt so bad at the time. On January 1st, 1962, the Beatles performed 15 songs in only an hour. They packed them in there. This was part of their audition for the Decca Records Company, which was a pretty well-known record company in London at the time. Some days later, the record company contacted the Beatles and said, yeah, well, that was nice, thank you, but no thanks, we'll pass. So the Beatles were like, what are we going to do next? Well, they persevered. They went on to sell 1.6 billion albums, singles actually, in the United States, 177 million albums in the United States, and around the world, more than 600 million albums. They've had 21 number one Billboard Hot 100 hits, the most any band has ever had. So there you go. If at first somebody tells you, nah, no thanks, keep at it. You never know where you might end up. So we're going to take a quick song break. We're going to listen to New Rose by Guns N' Roses, and then we'll be back with our Friday Spotlight with Gino Brand.
Is she really going out with him?
Welcome back to the 2 p.m. Reboot with Casey McKeever. You just heard New Rose by Guns N' Roses, of course, the original by The Damned, also a classic album. Damn. So if you've never heard that band, definitely check it out. And Gino is here. Gino Brand is here with me. We were just talking off the air, so okay, let me pretend you just came into the studio. This is the Friday Spotlight, and we do this every Friday. We've got musicians or artists or performers that are living and working here in Busan, or some coming to visit and participate in the Busan music culture or art culture. And today we've got a local legend by the name of Gino Brand who's joined us in the studio. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me on. It's an honor to be here.
Oh, yeah, and, we know each other. Certainly we've run into each other many times out and about playing music as well. And how would you basically introduce what you do here in Busan? What kind of music do you play? What is your life as a musician here in Busan?
Ooh, good question. I'd say pretty diverse. I have a few different projects going on at a time, but
you're always busy.
I'm always busy. There's always something going on. I'm playing in a couple different bands right now.
What are the bands that you play in?
I play with a band called Jotae Jun and the Busan Groove.
Right.
Playing guitar and bass with them. It's been very fun.
Guitar and bass?
Yeah.
Sometimes guitar, sometimes bass.
Sometimes
not at the
guitar,
same time.
sometimes bass. Not at the same time, but recently I did get an instrument that has bass strings and a guitar on it, so I've been trying to mess around on that.
Really?
It's like this hybrid guitar. It's very difficult, but super fun.
So the strings are bass size, but the guitar is guitar size, or the opposite way?
Well, there are 8 strings on this instrument, and 3 of them are bass strings, and then 5 of them are guitar strings. So you get to kind of try to do both at the same time, which is super fun and super challenging.
Cool.
Yeah.
I was about to jump into like nerd talk for a second, but I'll let it be. I kind of wanted to, do you have separate output jacks for the pickups? I'll let it be.
Okay.
We could probably talk music stuff all day long.
Yeah, I'll bring it over and show you one time.
Cool. Yeah. And you actually did bring a guitar in with you in the studio today.
I thought just in case we needed to,
Because you've performed here at BEFM before.
Yeah, many times. I love playing in this little studio. It's great.
Yeah, and it's probably changed a bit since you've been in the last time, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I think the tables and everything is in a different place. But yeah, last time I saw you, I think you were doing Laura's show at the time, right?
That's right, and you played some music live for us. So yeah, Gino is the kind of person who can just show up with an acoustic guitar and entertain an entire room of people. It's always amazing to watch. And so a lot of times when I see you, you're a solo performer.
Yeah.
But you did mention you play in one band. Mm-hmm. Say it again.
It's Jotae Jun and the Busan Groove.
There you go.
Yeah.
Free plug there.
Yeah.
And he's playing bass and guitar in that band. And what's another band you play in?
Another band I play in these days is called The Blinds. And we've been on a bit of a hiatus for a while. I think our drummer left the country, so maybe he'll come back. But like you were saying earlier, we're always looking for drummers. So
it's
if you're
thing,
a drummer
right?
out there, it is a thing.
It's seriously, there's always like a shortage of drummers. It's a weird thing, but and that's interesting. That always happens with bands. Like you get to a point where you've got songs going and you want to start playing shows, and then there could be one person's like little life change and it kind of derails everything for a little bit, but you always hope that it picks up where you left off, right?
Yeah, it's tough to get that momentum going again.
It is.
Yeah, and then I do a lot of solo shows like you were saying. I was thinking about how I think maybe my ideal environment wouldn't necessarily be playing in front of a huge amount of people, but if I could just kind of perpetually go to like small rooms or campfires or something like this for the rest of my life, that would be kind of perfect for me. I just like small, intimate environments when I'm doing that.
Why do you prefer that?
I don't know. I feel like I can really connect with people a little bit more personally.
Right.
In a way. Yeah.
Especially around the campfire.
Yes, especially around the campfire in a small room or a house party or whatever it is.
Do you prefer even being because you have an acoustic guitar and I often see you play with an acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
Would you prefer actually not even having microphones? Do you prefer that where it's that intimate where you don't even need a microphone to sing even?
Oh yeah, I love that, like the tiny desk sort of environment where it's just really people singing in a room. Right. Like an old bluegrass band where they just have one microphone in the middle of the studio.
Is that kind of what influenced you to start playing? Is that kind of music? I mean, I guess we're not that old where you see like videos of like old footage of like blues performers and legendary like bluegrass musicians who actually didn't have that much technology at their fingertips, where they maybe had just one microphone in a room. Mm-hmm. Did that kind of inspire you to play that kind of music or that kind of feeling?
Definitely. I've always been inspired by folk music.
Yeah.
And I guess the idea being that for a long time, I think the way that we would share news and share stories with each other, and this is going back, maybe hundreds of years, but people would go from town to town and they'd bring an instrument, they would sing a song to the next town, and then they would have that song and then they would share it. And I was always really inspired by this idea that maybe there was some point where you just find a big lawn and there's just musicians everywhere singing songs at each other.
Right.
Yeah, I've always been inspired by that idea. I think it's something we've always had.
And actually, I can feel that a little bit of that inspiration. So we're going to play some songs off of your newest album.
Oh, great, yeah.
Would you like to talk about the name of it?
Sure. It's called the Bravo Suite. It was kind of based on, there's an album by Bobby Gentry called the Delta Suite.
Right.
And so I sort of copied the inspiration from just listening to that album a lot, I think, at the time. And it's a 5-song EP, and it's out there.
And we're going to listen to the first song off of this, and it's called Domino Effect. And even though it has like some drums that I would consider like a more modern take on background drumming, the instrumentation largely speaks to that kind of like folk, kind of bluegrass even, kind of definitely acoustic, obviously acoustic, but that kind of like small setting sound. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, I hope I've made myself clear. You can be the judge for yourself. So it's kind of an interesting mix of kind of like modern sounds, but kind of traditional sounds at the same time. We're going to listen to the song Domino Effect off of the Bravo Suite, recently released. When did this come out?
This came out in March.
Right, so this is March. This was released in March, Gino Brand's new EP. This is called the Bravo Suite, and we're going to listen to this first song off the EP called The Domino Effect.
Couple of years, it's the kind of life that turns into tears. Oh, your smile so golden. We're all invited to the sky, being invited into a yellow ochre and a cornflower blue. The day is breaking through, but we're still holding on. No one would suspect love's domino effect. One starts falling, they all start falling. I try to resist, and it's a lot more fun to kiss. As soon as you start falling, we all start falling. In my mind, but you're in charge of set design. No big production, but it's entertaining. And if I may be so bold, the greatest story that I've ever been told. Even if sometimes it needs explaining. Okay. And no one would suspect love's domino effect. As soon as one starts falling, they all start falling. And I try to resist, and it's a lot more fun to kiss. As soon as you start falling, I start falling into love and down again. Something else indeed, when you find that all you need is somebody to call a friend. No one would start falling. We all start falling. Welcome back to the 2 p.m. Reboot with Casey McKeever. We just heard Domino Effect by Gino Brand off of his March EP of the Bravo Suite, and we were talking about it. Perhaps you could see us chatting during the break there. I was asking about the instrumentation because, I did a little research, but I like to let you talk about your own works. Did you play all of the instruments on this album and on this song we just heard?
No, I did not. I played some of the instruments. I think I played guitars and bass on most songs and piano on some songs.
Because we have jammed together. I've seen him just walk up and play the piano right next to me. I was like, what? You can do that too? Cool.
I love hammering around on the piano, but I'd love to learn it more formally. But yeah, I don't play the drums, so I had a couple friends play on different tracks. So the last song we heard was a friend of mine named Jim Bacho. And he came down from Seoul to play those drums. And
so he actually lives in Seoul?
He lives in Seoul, yeah.
And he came to Busan to help you record?
Mm-hmm. That's
cool.
right, yeah.
That's good to have friends like that, right?
Yeah. And it's one of those things where when I was writing the song, I kind of had him in mind because we'd played together a lot in the past. And so I wanted a particular drum part, which it took him a few tries, but we eventually got there.
And did he, a lot of people might not be familiar. There's kind of two ways to record. And most of the time these days when records are made, you kind of record your parts separately, right?
Right.
And a lot of times the drums are done first because it's just easier to match up later. Was that the case with this song?
No, we actually recorded a lot of the other parts first, and then we recorded the drums to that, and then we were going to go back and re-record everything, but then we kind of just liked how it sounded, even though it didn't quite match up perfectly maybe, but there was something unique about the mix of it all.
Yeah, I would say, as I was trying to explain poorly before, there's a lot of kind of old style inspiration in what I hear in the acoustic instrument. Drums are acoustic instruments too, are they not? In the guitars. In the guitars for that song, I felt there was kind of a lot of an old style sound and kind of dreamy, kind of maybe hearkening back to a past sound. And then the drums were a very modern take on that, which you don't kind of see those two put together. And I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm glad you guys didn't change it.
Cool.
Yeah, very good. So I really enjoyed that a lot. And so what kind of inspires you when you want to make music? When you're like, all right, I've got an EP I need to do, or is it just song by song at a time? What's your process?
I think, a lot of songs will come about where you write a verse and then you'll write a chorus at a separate time and then you'll come back together and it's like, oh, that kind of fits with that.
Right.
The song we just listened to was not like that at all. It was one of those songs that just kind of all came out in maybe 20 minutes, or like Sweet Child of Mine where it just happens in 5 minutes, right?
Right.
So, that was just kind of a quick one and those are usually the ones that end up feeling the best, or the ones that you write quickly, right?
Where you don't overanalyze,
yeah, you
right?
Struggle.
So, this is good. This is good. I like where it's going, and then suddenly it's done.
Yeah.
Right? And there's an interesting shift in that song. A lot of the song at the beginning part would be, I would say, kind of more folky, more poppy, and then we took a turn into dub reggae.
Yeah.
How does that happen? Is this just these are influences that you have kind of circling around in your brain, and then you're just these two things go together well?
Yeah, it kind of came from that. I think there was, we would play that live where we would just jump into a reggae thing in the middle of it. And then we would just jam on that for 5 minutes or something like that. And, you have this reggae groove going on.
Right.
So kind of wanted to incorporate a little bit of that into the recording.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, it worked out well. I enjoyed that heavily.
Cheers.
We've been talking about our topic for today for our listeners has been, what musician would you like to meet?
Yeah.
And I was curious, do you have a favorite singer-songwriter? Because you are a singer-songwriter yourself.
Yeah. I've always been really inspired by Bob Dylan since I was a really little kid.
Which is weird.
It's very weird.
It's weird to be into Bob Dylan as a little kid.
As like a 10-year-old kid and be like, listen to Hard Rain's Gonna Fall. And
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I get it, man.
Yeah, I'll protest. I'll get out there. I'll join you, right?
Yeah, Mr. Tambourine Man. Yeah.
Right. How'd you get into that? Like, why Bob Dylan?
I saw him on MTV Unplugged, and he was like,
Really?
an old man at the time. But I was
Right.
like, oh, this is what Bob Dylan looks and sounds like. Oh, okay, this is weird. And then I went to the library, and I had just started playing guitar, and so I got a book of his chords, and I got a couple of tapes or CDs or whatever that I got from the library, and then I would just listen to the CDs, and I would play along with the chord book, and that's how I kind of learned chords. That's kind of how I learned a lot of different chord changes.
I'm
Going chord to
guessing
chord.
Bob Dylan probably had some complicated chords. Yeah?
Yeah.
But a lot of his songs are like a lot of his well-known songs, like a lot of the hit songs, like a Rolling Stone or like Tambourine Man you mentioned. They're probably simple chord progressions. But I'm assuming, I'm just guessing. I actually don't know much about Bob Dylan's songwriting. The Beatles are famous for like just throwing in these weird chord shapes in the middle of a song. Was
Right.
Bob Dylan like that too, or did he just kind of keep it simple?
He kept it more simple, but I think there's also a lot of intricate finger-picking patterns and things that would happen. He's actually a pretty accomplished guitarist in his own right. It gets overlooked a bit because of his songwriting. But yeah, so I think just from that, and then and that was a big inspiration when I was younger to really get into it, to get into writing my own songs.
Cool.
And exploring that part of my creativity.
Question.
Yes. Response.
Would you like to actually meet Bob Dylan, or is it just kind of better to admire from afar?
Maybe don't meet your heroes.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
got a reputation.
He's got a reputation. I think, when you asked that earlier, I was thinking about it. I think maybe Yo-Yo Ma. I've always wanted to meet Yo-Yo Ma.
Cool.
Maybe my first instrument was the cello that I started on. Wish I had stuck with that too, but
Really?
yeah, when I was.
How did you get into cello?
Well, I wanted to play the guitar, and then my dad said, I'll give you you can take cello lessons at the school for a year, and if you stick with that, then I'll get you a guitar.
So
that
there
was
was
the deal we made.
Right, Dad's like guitar if.
Yes, if
Okay.
you show that you are willing to stick with an instrument. Because before that, I had really wanted to play piano, apparently, when I was very, very young. And I took piano lessons for like a month, and then I was like, I don't like the teacher. She's making me arch my fingers, and her breath smells like coffee or whatever. So
Let me check mine. I think I'm good. I hope so. Yeah, I don't want to send you running out of here like, oh, this guy with his coffee breath.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's interesting because, like a teacher can really influence your desire for wanting to play an instrument. So I'm not saying that was a terrible piano teacher, but if you maybe had a different one, maybe you would have stuck with piano.
Maybe.
Right.
Or maybe if I had, different motivations. You don't really have particular motivations when you're young, but I think when you get older, you're like, oh, I really want to learn this, and I really want to stick with it and go through being bad at it for a few years. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And I was thinking back to my one guitar lesson. I didn't like that teacher.
Oh, you had one guitar lesson?
Only one.
Wow.
And I was like, this is not for you. I'm going to figure it out by myself.
So would you say that you're self-taught for the most part?
Oh,
on your
for sure.
instruments? Okay.
Everything.
Wow.
Everything. Yeah, definitely self-taught. And I think one reason why I had enough inspiration for the music I was just listening to as a kid, like you mentioned Bob Dylan at 10 years old, that's unusual. But not for me. I was listening to the same kind of music. Like I was always around like classic rock radio because my parents were always playing that. And so I was into rock music from I don't even know what age. And I think it's just in there.
Yeah.
And if you can't find the right teacher to, show you that, you'll find a way to learn what you want to learn. Right?
Sure.
I think. Yeah. So you did stick with the cello for a year or you did not?
A year, and then my dad got me a guitar, and then I quit the cello.
As soon as you got the guitar?
And as soon as I got the guitar.
Did you smash the cello? Because those are very cumbersome.
I think it was a rental from the music shop, and we just went and took it back.
I gotcha. Because those are like, how old were you when you were learning cello?
Probably 8 or 9. Yeah.
Was it bigger than you?
Oh, yeah.
They're huge.
Big guys, yeah. Very beautiful sonority. I think it's a very similar pitch range as the guitar and the human voice, maybe.
The cello itself? The way the pitches that come out of the instrument?
Yeah, right.
It is a beautiful sounding instrument. If you've never had the opportunity to see one in person, go to like a classical performance. There are plenty of them here in Busan. It just sounds amazing, right?
And the thing I love about Yo-Yo Ma is he seems to have just found the best thing to do, which is I'm just going to be really good at this, and then I'm going to go all around the world and play with all the best musicians there are everywhere in the world and make beautiful music together. And it's like, what a dream.
What a cool life, right?
Yeah.
And he seems like a genuinely nice guy. I've seen him interviewed, right? He doesn't seem like Bob Dylan, I'll say. Right? We'll say it that way. So sometimes it's good to meet your heroes sometimes perhaps not.
Yeah.
Right. So we're going to listen to actually one more song off of your new EP, The Bravo Suite. What's our second song going to be?
I think we're going to listen to In the Meantime.
You're right.
All right.
And what can you tell us about this track?
So this song I recorded with my band Busan Groove, and we recorded it in a proper studio.
All together?
All together.
You recorded it live?
I think we recorded it separately. Yeah.
Okay.
It's just separate parts.
Drums first this time?
Drums first this time, yeah. And this was Evilo.
Fantastic drummer.
Yeah, great
I've
guy,
seen him in
great
person. Left-handed too. The left-handed drummer. So he'll switch up the drum set on you if you play like an open mic thing. Just be prepared. You'll have to move the stuff over.
Yeah, that's right.
But it's well worth watching him play.
Mm-hmm.
He's fantastic. So you guys recorded this all together in one studio?
Yeah.
And cool. How many people on this track?
I think there are 5 of us. Vasana Haynes on the piano, and then Joe Taejun on the bass. 4 of us, and then I play guitar.
Awesome. Yeah. And I should mention, by the way, you've got a gig coming up tomorrow night, in fact, right?
Yes, let's mention it.
So, so if you want to catch Gino, or are you playing solo tonight or tomorrow, or are you playing with the band?
It'll be a solo show. It's for U.S. and Canada Day, Canada's Independence Day and U.S. Independence Day. I'll be playing some songs from Canada and the U.S.
Yeah, because American Independence Day was yesterday, July 4th. Canada Day was Monday, I believe, July 1st.
Yeah.
It's been an eventful week for North America. So go celebrate with Gino Brand. He'll be at the basement right across from Busan National University, Jungmun, the main gate there. Go check him out. And it's a free show?
Yes, it is a free show.
Oh,
9 o'clock.
Yeah. Go tip the man. He's going to be working hard for you. So with that said, thank you so much for coming in today, Gino.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, man, it's been my pleasure.
Yeah.
And I wish we had 20 more minutes. We could just keep going. But I do want to let listeners hear another song off your EP, The Bravo Suite. This is In the Meantime by Gino Brand. Thanks so much for coming in.
Take another sip on my ginseng tea. Gonna try to be asleep by 3. Looking out my window at the bridge over Gwanghwaali. Well, I guess it's not so bad here. I guess I'll stay one more year. And I'm gonna figure it all out. Figure it all out after. I'm gonna figure it all out. Figure it all out after. Stop rolling around in my bed, singing all the songs stuck in my head. Thought I could bypass time, but time it's bypassed me instead. Well, at least I'm not alone here. Call it home here. And I'm gonna figure it all out. Figure it all out after. I'm gonna figure it all out. Figure it all out after. But in the meantime, oh, in the meantime, I might just go out and see the world. Yeah, in the meantime, oh, in the meantime, I might just go out and see the world. Then I'll go get my heart broken. I'll get it cracked wide open. 'Cause that's the only way I'm gonna know what's inside. ginseng tea. Gonna try to be asleep by 3. Looking out my window, out the bridge over Guangli.
Welcome back to the 2 p.m. Reboot with Casey McKeever. You just heard our last song with Gino Brand. That was In the Meantime, and that is, of course, off of his recently released LP, or EP, EP, The Bravo Suite, and that came out last March. 5 tracks, recorded this year, something fresh, something new. And Gino's been making music here in Busan for a long time. I've had the pleasure to play with him, to watch him play. We've played different shows together. We've jammed together a couple times. Excellent person, so friendly. And you can definitely catch him playing shows all around town. But especially, you can catch him tomorrow night. He'll be playing a quick show, or a soon show. He'll be playing soon. Saturday night in the PNU area. And it's the idea is it's been Canada Week. It's been Independence Day for Americans this week. So it's kind of combining a lot of music that you may know from Canadian and American artists. So that will definitely be a great time. And it's free. Go check it out for free. That is one thing cool here in the Busan scene. Yes, some shows can be expensive, and sometimes you might be like, that's a little bit too much to pay every weekend. However, there is still tons of great free music out there and hardworking musicians out there to entertain you. And Gino is definitely one of those. So go check him out this Saturday night. I hope you've thought about who you would like to meet. He was talking about meeting Bob Dylan, being one of his inspirations. Sometimes you don't want to meet your inspiration, right? It's enough to be inspired by them. You never know what they'll be like in person, and you don't want to ruin that image, right? So perhaps instead of meeting one of his heroes, Bob Dylan, he said he would like to meet Yo-Yo Ma, another one of his heroes who definitely has a much nicer reputation. Very good. Okay, so thanks so much again for Gino for coming in for our Friday Spotlight. Now it is time for our perfect playlist. This week we've had songs about the theme of July, right? Songs about July all week long. We've got one more for you for this week. We've got the song July by Mundi. This is an upbeat folk rock track that captures the carefree spirit of the summer. And we just had a folk rock artist in here. Perfect timing, right? This song was actually released back in 2002. The song is known for its infectious chorus and a vibrant acoustic guitar work. Mundi is an Irish singer-songwriter who has energetic delivery, and the song has a catchy rhythm that makes it an irresistible sing-along anthem. Lyrically, they're celebrating love and the simple pleasures that the summer months bring. If you're a newcomer to this song, July is definitely a refreshing and joyful addition to the summer playlist, and it is perfect for road trips or beach days. So this will be our song for today's perfect playlist, July by Mundi. And with that, we're going to wrap up our show, okay? It is time to wrap up for this Friday. We'll see you, of course, tomorrow. We have our Reboot highlight show on Saturday and Sunday at 2 p.m. Thank you for joining us on this Friday. I've been your host, Casey McKeever. We'll be back Monday, 2:05 p.m. And, of course, stay tuned for Your Busan. So this will be our last song for today, July by Mundi.